Hi chess masters, Coach Sipho here, and this one is for those who are saying I can utilize tactics against opponents who are at my level or opponents who are below my level. However, when I'm playing with opponents who are much stronger than me, I never get an opportunity to use tactics. It seems like those opponents never make a mistake. They play so accurate. They never make a mistake. Nope, that is wrong, chess masters. Even very strong chess players, as long as they are also human beings, they also do make mistakes. The only difference is that they are not making obvious tactical mistakes that a lot of chess players make. So, as we always do, chess masters, I am going to use 3 diagrams to demonstrate my idea. And then at the end, I am going to give you a task so that you can apply your newly acquired chess knowledge. So without any more delays, let's dive into it. Very strong players, as I said before, they also do make mistakes, but they don't make obvious tactical mistakes. For example, most players know what is a fork, they know what is a pin, but very strong players, they don't fall for those. They are too simple and they are too careful to fall for those. So before I use these 3 diagrams to demonstrate my point, let's just take a simple position so that I can demonstrate what I am trying to share with you. When you play against weaker opponents, you can win with simple forks, with simple pins, with skewers and all of that. I hope you know those basic tactical motifs. So for example, when you play with a weaker player, you can play your knight to c3 and your opponent won't even notice that you are threatening knight to b5. They might play a normal developing move, let's say knight to e6, and then on the next move you can simply fork their king and the queen. So that is how you utilize tactics against players who maybe are at your level or weaker opponents. But when you play with stronger opponents, they won't fall for this. As soon as you play knight c3, they will ask themselves, what are you up to? What are you threatening? That is always the first step of their thinking system or their thinking algorithm. Once you play a move, they think about the possible squares for this knight. Where are you trying to go? And then they will quickly notice that you are threatening a fork, and they will prevent it, maybe by playing queen to c6 or rook to b8 instead of developing when they know that the knight could go to b5. They won't play this. They will prevent your knight from going to b5. Even when you play a move like this, when you play against beginners, you may play bishop to e3, threatening bishop to f4, and they won't even notice. They will just make a normal move, and then after that, you can be able to pin their queen and the king. That's how you win against players who are not so strong. But as I explained, very strong players really fall against this one move threat. So if you want to beat them, you need to use combinations, okay? You need to use tactical combinations. What do I mean by tactical combinations? I mean, there is no fork in a particular position, but you force a situation where you place opponents' pieces on the squares where you want them to be so that you can ultimately fork or pin them. So let's go ahead and demonstrate my point. Position number 1. As I explained, strong players won't make obvious blunders. They will make normal moves that don't seem like a blunder at first glance. For example, in this position, white can play a move like rook to b8. What is white threatening? The pawn to b7. This looks like a normal move. So these are the kind of blunders that very strong players make. So most players will think that this is a normal move and it is not a blunder. But then if you've been practicing combinations and deep tactics, this is a blunder. Okay, you can actually play here. There is no fork, but you can force opponent's pieces to go to squares where a fork will be possible. For example, you can play rook take g3. After rook takes g3, you actually force the king to come to this diagonal, and then after that you can fork the king and the rook. Once the king gets out of check, it doesn't matter what they do, then black can go ahead and take the rook. Now black is winning here, but let's go back to the position and see what happened in this position. At first glance, it did not appear as though white made a mistake. In this position, a rook to b8 looked like a normal move. It's the end game, so you should go for your opponent's pawns, right? It doesn't look like an obvious moves. But then if you are used to tactical combinations, you will always try to visualize your ideal position, the position that you want. How can you? Of course, you will look for forcing moves. Can I take? Can I attack? Or of course, you would think of this move. You want to attack that rook, but you feel like if you attack that rook right away, the bishop will be able to capture you. So instead of going there, how about starting with this one? So you see, there is nothing special here, guys. We've learned about the forcing moves. Whenever it is your turn, the first thing that should come to your mind, of course, after you've considered your opponent's last move, once the opponent makes a move, you need to ask, what are they threatening? Is their move dangerous or not? After considering your opponent's move, whatever they are planning to do, the next step is to look for your own forcing moves. What are forcing moves? There are 3 types of forcing moves: captures, checks, threats. So you look for all possible checks. There is no check here, but there are captures. So you look at your possible captures, and then this is a threat, so it falls under the forcing moves because it is a forcing move threatening a rook. So once you identify your forcing moves, then step 3 is to use the process of comparison or elimination to see which move is the best. You look at them one by one. If I go there, okay, my opponent will take me. What will I do after that? Okay, I won't gain anything. So you cancel that one using the process of elimination. It doesn't work, okay? By the way, those who did not learn about the process of elimination, I recommend that you watch that video because it will help you with your tactics, okay? It will help you so that you can be able to calculate like many different variations so that you can ultimately choose the best one. So after eliminating that one using the process of elimination, by the way, I'm going to post the video at the end of this one, the process of elimination. So you are going to eliminate that one. It doesn't work. Then you can also think about this one. What if you play this one? It looks good. Okay, you just win a pawn. Okay, maybe we'll come back to this one. Let's also analyze that one. If I take, the opponent will take, then do I have another forcing move? Yes, I do have a forcing move, and it will fork my opponent, and at the end I am going to win a piece. Okay, that's how you use all these tactical methods. We learned about the process of comparison, we learned about the process of elimination. Now we are dealing with combinations. Combinations is the process of forcing your opponent's pieces to the squares where you want them to be so that you can be able to use forks, pins, basic tactical motif. But at first you will have to force opponent's pieces to be where they don't want to be. Okay, now let's go to position 2. Position 2, again, a very strong chess player won't make obvious blunders, but if you scrutinize their moves, you will notice that there are blunders. For example, in this position, white plays bishop to b2. Now, to most players, that move is a normal move. It develops a bishop. It neutralizes that powerful bishop there. So it doesn't seem like a bad move at all. But then if you apply what we've been learning in this channel, forcing moves, all the stuff that we've been learning, you are going to look at all your forcing moves. Then you are going to find a combination that will allow you to execute a fork. You want to fork here. How can you fork with your knight? You can go there, but unfortunately you can't go there. What will you win? Nothing. Okay, you won't win anything, because at the very least white can take that knight, winning 3 points, and you will take the bishop, winning 3 points, and the position is equal. But then using combinations, tactical combinations, you force your opponents to be where you want them to be. Before playing knight to d3, you can exchange these bishops. After this exchange, it allows you a fork. Okay, now you can go ahead and fork the queen and the rook. Okay, but then it was not possible until you forced your opponent's pieces to be where you want them to be. Now let's go to our third position before we go to our task. Third position. In this position, white is a pawn up. White is a pawn up. So, but then white has, black has some compensation. Black has open lines. So black can try to do something to attack, especially that pawn on c2. Probably black can try to double, play the bishop to e4. So in this particular game, black played bishop to a4. Now what is black up to? Black is putting more pressure on that c2 pawn, and if white is not careful, white is going to lose in one move. Now, what tactics can you use in this position to win material? Okay, what would you do? What would most players do? Most players would probably play bishop to... No, bishop. I was thinking of bishop to d3, but it doesn't work because black can take that bishop. The pawn cannot take back. It is pinned. So if the rook takes, then that rook is going to take and white will lose a piece. Probably most players would play a rook to d2 to protect this pawn. However, if you are familiar with tactical combinations, you can win a piece here. You can win a piece. You can force a fork. At the present moment, there is no fork that is possible. But if you can force your opponent's pieces to be where you want them to be, then you can force a fork. Okay? For example, you can simply check the king. Just imagine if the king was here. You would be able to bring your queen here, forking the king and forking the bishop. But then unfortunately the king is not there. When you play chess, you don't hope and say, I wish my opponent's king was there. You think of ways to force it to go there. So there is a way to force the opponent's king to come here so that you can force it, check, while attacking that bishop. You simply play queen to h8. The only way to get out of check is to come to e7. Of course, black cannot go to this file since there is a rook. So black can only go to e7. Now the rook is finally where we want it to be. Now your queen can go ahead and fork the king and the bishop. Now when the king gets out of check, it doesn't matter where they go. The next move for white would be to take that bishop, and instead of defending that pawn passively, we used tactical combinations to force the king to come there, and then we forked the king and we won the bishop. Okay, so now I think you get my point. Stronger opponents won't make obvious moves. Once they make a move, especially when one of their pieces are hanging, Okay, hanging means they are unprotected. There will always be something. Try to find a way to punish unprotected pieces. Okay, so now we've shared the 3 positions. Now let's go ahead, as we always do, to our task of the day. And as I always say, guys, try to be involved. Try to be an active student. If you are active, is the more whatever you learn will stick in your mind. Okay, you will remember whatever you learn. But if you are not active, you are just a passive learner, never do the homework, never do the activities that you are given, whether at school or here learning chess or whatever you are learning. If you are not active, then you won't see results. It will take you time to improve. But if you are active, then you will improve quickly. It's not about getting the correct answer. It is mostly about getting involved. Once you notice that you got a wrong answer, you learn what did you do wrong, you improve. That's how you quickly improve. Okay, now let's go to our task. In this position, white played rook to a1, and it looks like a normal move. Okay, it looks like a normal move because that rook is challenging this rook, which is on an open file. So it is always good, guys, it is always a good idea to never allow opponent's pieces to be more active than yours. So when the opponent's rook is stronger than your rook, you should try to neutralize that rook, compete with that rook, so that at least you exchange those rooks. Okay, but never allow opponent's pieces to be more active than yours. So this is what stronger players would do. They would try to neutralize this rook since it is on an open file. So they would say we should rather exchange these rooks because your rook is much stronger than mine. But in this position, this move is actually a mistake. So now try to use tactical combinations to force your opponent's pieces to be where you want them to be, to give you a hint so that you make a fork possible. What can you do here to make a fork possible? But of course, there is no immediate fork. You need to force opponent's pieces where you want them to be first. Once they are where you want them to be, you can go ahead and go for that fork and win the game. Okay, and win the game. And remember, if you want to find these tactical combinations, there's nothing special. It has to do with your thinking system. Always look for the forcing moves. Do I have a check? Do I have a capture? Do I have what? How can I force my opponent's pieces to be where I want them to be? Okay, and guys, as I always do, please also support the channel grow. And it has been growing, guys, and it wouldn't be possible without your support. Now we're chasing that 400 subscribers. Please help me get to that 400 subscribers. Now we are on 368, I think. So please help me, share with your friends, share with other people. They will also improve. It's not like they will only come and support, but they will also improve. Please invite them so that they help this channel grow, guys. At least I want to get to 400 subscribers, guys. And those who did not watch the process of comparison and the process of elimination so that you can use these which will allow you to be able to deal with complicated positions, please watch these videos above. Until next week, peace.